Cela fait 1 an et demi que la Wembanyama a déferlé sur la NBA. Après la France, l'effet waouh ne s'est pas estompé. 100 matchs pour Wemby dans la Grande Ligue et fans, journalistes, vous l'avez compris, vous le savez, sont déjà convaincus. Mais ce qui est le plus fort, c'est d'impressionner encore ses pairs match après match.
Last year, I watched him just like everybody else, saw all of the fanfare, and so now I have a different perspective, getting a chance to see him day in and day out, getting a chance to see his work ethic, and getting a chance to see and know who he is, like personally, and it's just different. It's different to see his humility, to see his work ethic.
Le gars est spécial. C'est vraiment un bon joueur, un joueur très exceptionnel. Et pour le moment, ce qu'il fait à son âge, c'est quelque chose d'exceptionnel.
Sideline over here, let's go. Balls up, sideline over here.
I've never seen a player like this. The closest I've seen, was probably Ralph Sampson. And, when Arvydas Sabonis was young before injury, Victor's doing things that those guys, that coaches didn't even think of back then. I mean, they have him handling in pick and rolls. They have him as the handler, and they have a small guy as the roller, and he's throwing hook bounce passes to guys for layups. He's coming off pin downs for threes.
Victor Wembanyama joue 4 minutes de plus que l'an dernier et il apporte plus offensivement, 24 points contre 21 la saison passée. Une augmentation due à son pourcentage d'adresse qui lui aussi monte à 2 points, à 3 points au lancer franc. Ça explique aussi qu'il prenne 9 tirs longue distance par match au lieu des 5,5 de l'an dernier. Un grand bond en avant.
J'ai progressé pas dans un peu tout, mais je pense notamment dans la connaissance de moi-même, de mes coéquipiers. Donc voilà, après ça se traduit sur plein de secteurs. Mais bon, déjà statistiquement il y avait progression, mais il y a aussi des statistiques qui sont maintenues, donc ce qui est bien. Et pour moi, je pense qu'on a beaucoup progressé grâce à Harrison et Chris, qui nous ont beaucoup aidé aussi. Donc voilà, on se rapproche de plus en plus de la recette entre guillemets pour gagner.
If you watch him now, you see those threes come a lot more in rhythm, a lot more in the flow of the game. He's not forcing as many shots, and he's learning how to use his height to his advantage around the basket as well, and find that blend of things. And when he does as Spurs coach Mitch Johnson says, when he dominates the fundamentals, the little things. Yes, he can do the spectacular dunks and one-legged three-pointers, and those are great. But when he dominates the little things around the basket, getting rebounds, blocking shots, just getting his man pinned so he can get an easy basket, that's when he's really at his most spectacular.
The three-pointer situation is very interesting because I've spoken to all of his coaches all the way back to when he was 13, 14 years old, and they've all said the exact same thing. Victor, please don't shoot from the outside so much. Please go in there because every time you go to the basket, your height matters. And Victor has said the same thing every time, which is, I'm going to do what I think is the right decision. And it's working out for him pretty well. And so when you talk to the Spurs, they want to respect that. And I think it was a different era. And I remember speaking to Vincent Collet about this. Vincent said that he doesn't coach him the same way he coached Boris Diaw. Boris Diaw would do 3 bad shots and he would say, go sit down. Victor would take 3 bad shots and he would say, okay, Victor, take a 4th.
La NBA, elle a changé. Pourtant, Wemby, il est en constante adaptation. Quelque chose qui ne change pas, c'est sa dissuasion défensive. C'est du niveau élite. Il est toujours le meilleur contrôleur de la NBA et de très très loin. Et on parle même de lui dans les outsiders pour la course au MVP derrière SGA et Jokic. Pourquoi? Parce qu'aussi les résultats collectifs des Spurs sont en hausse, quasiment à l'équilibre.
Bam Adebayo is an elite defensive player, but even for a guy who watches every Bam game, it's very difficult right now to envision anybody other than Victor Wembanyama being Defensive Player of the Year this year, and probably for a lot of years to come. Teams do not have an answer for him on that end of the floor. He's made immediate impact. I think he's far and away the front runner to be Defensive Player of the Year.
I don't think there's any debate. I have a vote, and if I had to vote right now, I would vote for him for Defensive Player of the Year. I voted for him for Defensive Player of the Year last year as well. And I don't see any way that's going to change in the years to come. He's going to be a multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year in this league.
Bon, ça fait beaucoup d'éloges tout ça, mais c'est pas facile de trouver une faille dans la cuirasse de Victor Wembanyama. Ah si, tiens, prenons quelque chose qu'il n'a jamais fait, Victor. Emmener les Spurs en post-season, play-in ou play-off, ça c'est un immense défi et ça validerait encore un autre type de progression.
Probably a lot of Wemby fans across the world, you know, they would love for the Spurs to just go all out and make the playoffs. But I don't think the Spurs are looking at it that it has to be such a fast process. Sure, they would love to if that happens, but they're not going to rush things. The Spurs are trying to build a team that lasts, that's built to last, and will be a competitive championship contending team for a long time. Just making the playoffs every now and then isn't the goal. It's to be one of the best teams in the league for several years in a row.
At some point, people in the NBA are going to say, I have to get to San Antonio to play with Victor. It's going to happen. I don't know what player it will be, I don't know when it will be, but somebody who's very smart is going to get out ahead and say, I have to be on this man's team. And I think it's going to be happening in the near future.
And in due time, it's very possible that he'll be the face of basketball. You know, not just NBA basketball, but world basketball.
Avec 2 performances marquantes à Bercy, l'alien Wemby a confirmé sa place parmi les étoiles. Le All-Star Game l'attend. Prochaine étape de la Wembamania.